Hi everyone, my name is Yardenna Bannett. I work for New Jersey NCSY. Woohoo, go New Jersey. I want to share with you a really awesome piece of Torah today. Okay, so here we go. This week's Parsha, Parsha's Vayigash, tells us an unbelievable thing. Yosef is about to meet his father for the first time in over 20 years. Okay? Yaakov has not seen his son has not seen his father. It's been over 20 years. So what do you expect, right? People aren't seeing each other, close family members aren't seeing each other for such a long, extended period of time. You're going to expect a huge party, tremendous celebration. People are going to be selling swag, father-son reunion. It's going to be awesome, big party. What actually happens? So if you look into the Torah, not much. Yosef approaches his father. He gives him a big hug, and he starts to cry. And Yaakov, his father, just doesn't respond. What on earth is going on over here? What is Yaakov thinking? So Rashi, one of the most famous commentaries on the Chumash, gives us a little bit of insight into what Yaakov was actually doing at the time. Rashi tells us that Yaakov, at the time that he sees Yosef, recites the Shema, right? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Yaakov recites the Shema. So wait a second. Why on earth did Yaakov choose this time, the time when he's seeing his son for the first time in over 20 years, to suddenly break out in a rendition of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad? What on earth is going on over here? Very strange. So in order to understand what that's all about, we need to take a look and delve a little bit deeper into what it is that Shema really means, right? We say it all the time, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, we throw it out, we go to sleep. What do those words actually mean? So the truth is that in those 6 words, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, lies a deep and fundamental principle. So here we go. God has a lot of names. There are many names that God is referred to in the Torah. Kel, Shakai, Hashem, Elokeinu. 2 of the most primary names that God is referred to by are Hashem and Elokeinu. And those names refer to 2 different aspects and facets of God in the way in which he relates to us. So Hashem, one of the primary ways in which he relates to us is through kindness. God gives. He gives us life. He gives us everything good that he gives us refers to Hashem. Okay? Hashem is the giver of all good. The second name, which is a name that you will find very commonly throughout prayer, throughout the Torah, is Elokeinu. Elokeinu refers to judgment. Okay? It's a name in which God relates to us through all the negative things that happen to us. Okay? All the really bad, all the really difficult things that happen in your life, okay, that's the name that we associate with Elokeinu. Those times that are just so difficult that you wonder whether or not he cares, that's Elokeinu. Every time we recite the Shema, we acknowledge a deep and fundamental truth. That Hashem, the God of kindness, the God that sends me all of the good that is in my life, and Elokeinu, the God that sends me all of the really bad things in my life, are really Hashem Echad, are really one unified God. That the good and that the bad are all coming from one loving place and one loving Father. Now, how does that work? What does it mean that all the pain and all the good are the same? How is it possible that all of the terrible things that happen to me are really just love and good and fluffy little rabbits floating on clouds? What's going on over there? So maybe we could understand by way of a mashal. I have a kid. She's 2 years old, and she really loves to explore electric sockets. Tremendous pastime of hers. They're really fun, right? So she walks over to the plugs, and she starts poking her fingers inside of them. La, 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 la. And what do as good parents? We go over to her and we say no, and we pull her hand away. Now, as the 2-year-old child, what does she do? She was having a really good time. She was poking her plugs. She was having fun. She starts to cry. Why? Because she thinks her parents are really mean. What's wrong with you, Mom and Dad? Why are you taking me away from my plug? It's really fun. But as her parents, we know that the plug is dangerous for her. It could be that sometimes something seems bad and something seems painful, but in essence, in nature, it's coming from a place of love and it's coming from a place of goodness. Let's go back to our story. Yaakov had a really stinky life. Let's go through it for a minute. He ran away from his parents' home. His brother wanted to murder him. His nephew stole all his money. He finally arrives at his uncle's house, who cheats him, makes him work 14 years for his wife, who subsequently dies. And then his son, his precious son, is taken away from him for over 20 years. It's a pretty bad life, no? So suddenly, 20 plus years later, he sees his son for the very first time. And all of a sudden, like a bolt of lightning, the clarity hits him. And he suddenly realizes that every single thing he's been through throughout his life has been all to bring him to this moment. All of the difficulty, all of the trials, the tribulations, everything has been to build himself up in order to come to this moment. He realizes for the very first time in his life that God has been with him the entire time, and that all the pain and that all the humiliation that he has had to endure has been so he could come to this great, unbelievable moment, this great time of clarity, this great time of faith in the goodness of God. And so there's nothing better for him to do at this moment. There's nothing better for him to do at this moment than to seize the moment and to say the very words that he's feeling at the time. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. God, I finally recognize that Hashem, the God that gives me good, the God that gives me life, and Elokeinu, the God that is judgmental, the God that sometimes gives me negative and makes my life stink, is all coming from that same loving Father. I hope that we can all appreciate and thank God when He gives us the good. But when those bad times come, as they always will, just remember that everything that happens is only for our best, is all good, and is all coming from a very loving Father.